Why, hello there. Glad, what's up, man? How y'all doing today? How y'all doing today, man? Oh, what up? What the fuck? God, how the hell? The fuck is this? Yo, what the fuck? This nigga shit got 51,000 views in an hour. What the hell? Nah, that's crazy. That's insane. How the hell you get 51,000 views in an hour? Nah, I can imagine that shit. That's the fuck. That's crazy. Thought I heard a nigga coming out, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought I heard somebody coming out that bit. My roommate trying to do some shit. So I'm like, hold on, I gotta see what's up. Nah, you go, hey, you wanna do? Hey man, I'm doing something right now, bro. I'm busy. Like, shut your ass up, man. See what this was talking about.
Oh my God, Birth Simulator was crazy too. You ever did a Birth Simulator?
Okay, son.
Oh, you did that before too?
My boy Diego, man.
Tractions.
Yeah. Yesterday? Yes, yesterday.
For real.
Yes, bro.
What it feel like though?
It feel like it's like a knife coming out of your stomach.
Out of it.
Yeah, it's like
Not in.
Or poke like a trying to like get me out, but it's like sharp though.
Oh, what
So they feel like women contractions.
Yeah.
So we doing it?
This?
Yeah.
You have this right now?
Yeah.
Bro.
We gotta do it. We hit 270.
Alright. Come on.
270.
Hey, don't do it like a lot of levels though.
Nah, W Herbo for sure.
Hey, Taina.
Chat, everybody can't solve it
Hey,
too.
they trying to get me to do the birth contraction in my stomach. Should I do it?
He said, hell yeah.
So I can know how you feel.
Is that how it's supposed to be?
Huh?
I don't know. I'm
Actually,
not a girl, so I don't know, but it's.
Yes.
you gonna level 10 that?
Don't love me.
No, look.
we gonna
Go
take
by
it
levels. You'll be able to
step by
feel it. You'll be like, oh yeah, up it. You'll be able to go.
I need a drink.
Nah, you gotta start with level one. You can't have a man right here fucking giving birth to twins on the first rep now.
There's
Come
no
on,
trick.
man.
Get out of here. My mom was probably drinking when she had me. It's level 1.
I'm about to put it
Oh yeah, hold on.
Oh,
How you
I
feeling?
ain't crank up.
I know we gonna level by level.
Alright. Okay.
If you level, you
Just start me on like level 2.
We're gonna start you
No, we go to
on
level
one. We're
1,
gonna start you on one.
and it goes up. That's how you gotta do it.
Okay, yeah, level one.
Starting in 3.
He already clenching his fist. Chill. It just started.
Wait.
Like, chill, just chill.
No, wait. No, I don't even think I want you to up it, gang.
Oh, you gotta up it. You gotta up it. You gotta up it. You gotta up it.
Oh. Oh, wait.
Where he at?
All right. Go level 2.
What level?
Wait, give me some.
That's 2?
Wait, hold on. Give me some time before you do it again.
I'll put
Hey,
you
give me
back
some time. Hold on. Give me some time.
Nah.
How the fuck, bro? How? Like, who thought of this? A simulator for birth. Who? Like, how you think of this shit? Like, oh yeah. That feel like it. Yep. When I had that baby, that feel like it. How do you think of this shit? Like, what?
Level 1.
This feels tingly crazy.
Level 1, bro.
All right, okay.
2.
Go 2.
We're going 2.
Oh, wait. First of all, I've been in labor with 3 kids. Breathe.
He said breathe.
Okay, go up.
Alright, we're going up.
Whew.
Well, chill out. That's what I'm saying.
You good. You eat that.
All right, wait. Contractions don't even come back that quick.
Get that man a little second. Let that man breathe. Let him. You know, get the man a second, okay? Like you moving too fast now. You moving too fast.
It goes up straight to 6 now. There's no 5.
You don't even eat that. That's
six.
fine.
Good, bro. You eat
four,
those, bro. You
it's
go
four.
for those.
Wait,
You
give me
doing
some
double
time
four.
though.
You good.
Tell me when to go up to the next level. Don't I tell you, like you give me a warning, right?
Yeah.
That was cool. That wasn't bad. That wasn't bad.
So we're gonna go up in 3, 2.
Wait, don't press it though.
Oh.
You eat those, bro. You good.
It's going up.
No, you gotta press it.
You gotta press
But
it.
look, immediately when you wanna stop, he'll stop it. Don't grab the cord. If you grab the cord, it's bad.
So stop it.
He'll be
and then go up to the
if
next.
it be like, yo, it hurts, stop. He gonna stop
Yeah,
it.
once you
All right.
if you
Okay,
It's
just
just
go
not
up to the
automatically.
next level. Go to 6. Go to 6.
Don't try to pull up the cords. Don't try to pull up the cord. Just say stop.
Okay, wait. That was 6.
That's 6 right there.
Ooh, wait. This is 6. This is 6.
That's 6.
Were you laughing?
Like, hey, that's light.
Wait, no, 6 ain't no hole either though, cause it keep going, it keep coming. The
it
contractions
go-
coming
it
back.
go and it
It don't
come back.
stop.
Go and it come back.
Wait. Okay.
I haven't done nothing.
It does.
And
Still
then what's the
six.
next level? 7?
8.
You
The next
good,
level is
bro.
8.
You already there. You
I thought 6 was
Well,
it.
that's
What the fuck? What'd it go up to?
We're going 8 and 3.
See, Prince, ain't that bad?
Whoa. Let me know.
Yo, what the fuck? Yo, and Yo, I thought it ended at 6. I'm like, okay, 6. This nigga. The old nigga over breakdancing and shit. Like,
Let me know.
Hold on, wait. I really got this.
You got one more
Hey,
level to go.
10 first try. One more level. 10 first try. Come on.
okay, 10.
You feel it, right?
Hell yeah, I feel it.
Push, nigga saying
Feel
push.
like a inside cramp, like.
I
Hold on, wait. It feel crazy because now I know I be a lot. Like throughout the day, it feel crazy. Oh, this 10.
No, it's 8 still.
Wait, it's so low. Like,
Hey, don't stop. So
Repeat.
wait, time out. Wait, time out. Y'all can't say that because
Look at this. Wait, this nigga giving birth. This nigga having a contract. Look, he a little pregnant for real. Hold on, let me grab somebody on. That boy going through it. That boy going through it. That boy going through it.
Wait.
Game time.
Get that knife.
All right, go 10. Go 10.
3, 2.
Don't put the cords on. Just wait. Just stop.
All right, that's 10.
Yeah. That's 10 right there.
You ate that.
That's 10 right there.
Wait, hell no, it hurt at the end, though, folks. When they get to the end, that shit get the hurting bad, gang.
Nah.
Oh, God, hold on. It's the end, folks. All right, stop that shit. Stop it, for real. The end, gang.
I think it's
I can do
side-stepping,
it.
bro.
It's just the end, bro. Like the last 3 seconds hurt bad as folks.
You was the 10 first try though.
That's fine.
That was super tough.
You ate that.
That was super tough.
Shouts out to all the mothers out there, man.
You want them to try to hold the bottle?
Huh? Oh yeah, you can try. to
No,
hold the
chat, no.
That's like
no, we're not doing that.
They got one with like show them.
We're not doing it.
What you mean, hold the bottle?
Look.
Like, I bet you
My
can't
whole
hold
arm,
that bottle.
like
if I turn
if
it
I
on.
hold it and I try to drink out of it, the go every like the start going everywhere.
Do it, you do it
I
first.
go first. We can do it at the same time.
Yeah, I can do it at the same time.
Yeah,
Get another bottle.
Wait, yeah, get another bottle. Get another water bottle.
Can we-
Ryan, can we get another bottle? Well, try to drink the water bottle. Wait, what level should we drink it on now?
You'll feel it
Like
there's
four
gonna
or
get to a point where your arm
Like
is
Yeah,
four or
it gets good to your point where your arms start being like this.
What the fuck?
Drink the water
Nigga,
bottle.
I'm gonna start doing all this and shit.
Oh, what, like count me down like how you just did.
Right. So 3, 2. That was level 1. 3, 2, 1. Feeling this?
Yeah, I feel it. Okay.
I don't feel that. Wait,
Hey, take a sip each. I think you should take a sip each
Yeah,
one.
there's one.
Alright.
It's 2.
We're on level 2
I feel
now.
it.
We're on level 2.
Yeah. I feel that motherfucker.
Why that nigga had to?
Why you do that though? What's that
All right, come on.
Alright. Y'all know we're going straight to level 4 now.
Okay. Okay. He got that motherfucker.
Wait, okay.
The boy
Go to level six.
wildin'.
Hurry. Go to level 6.
Fuck. That motherfucker.
Gang.
That motherfucker doing knees and shit. That boy said, hey, that boy said, take my strong hand, ugly. That boy said, take my strong hand. That boy wild.
Too, because y'all came in. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna go straight to 8 on this one.
I'm out of here.
8?
Go straight to 8. Go straight to 8. Go straight to 8.
You ready?
Take my strong hand. Nah, niggas. That nigga took the fuck off. What? Nah, he done ripped the shit. Nigga done brought the machine. That nigga took the fuck off. Oh my lord. That boy took the fuck.
I don't know.
He broke the whole machine.
Go straight 10. Go straight 10. Wait, I didn't see what happens at 10. Yo, go 10. Go to 10.
No, bro. All right, come on.
Wanna go 10?
Want to
Go
go
to
10?
10. Go straight 10.
Yeah, he not making it. He not making that nigga. I don't know what the fuck level this was, but the way that nigga ran off the muff, he nigga spilled water all on the ground, broke the machine. He not making it to level 10. He's just not doing shit with this. He's just not doing shit with this.
Wait, let me drink.
Yeah, spilled water on the nigga Chris.
We gonna take them. Count us down.
Start at
Chris,
1.
you need to get a fucking splash zone or some shit.
Count us down, but say 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, let me know when it's going to 10.
1 is coming right now. 3, 2, 1. So that's 1. You feel that? Alright, and 10 is coming in 3, 2.
Oh, he dropped that motherfucker. Hey, he got that motherfucker. But drop that motherfucker crazy.
Nah, bro, what the fuck, man? Hey,
Was it a twitch?
Nah, he got that motherfucker. Oh, damn. Okay. I knew Herbo was cool, man. I knew Herbo was cool. This nigga got another video. What the fuck? An alien 5% smarter than us? What?
Suppose the difference between humans and chimps is as small as 0.5% DNA in the
Hey, this is my
intelligence
boy, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Love that nigga, bro.
vector, whatever that vector is. Suppose it is that small. What do you say? Well, what do you mean? We have the Hubble telescope in poetry and philosophy, and they stick a twig in a hole to get termites out. Maybe the difference between those is small. You don't want to think that way, but imagine it. So now let's imagine an alien who is 5% along that same vector beyond us that we are beyond the chimp. What would we look like to them? No reason for me to think that we wouldn't look any different to them that chimps look to us. And that's 0.5%. So now imagine 5%, 10%.
What the fuck
They're
is that? Yo. Is that a sperm? That's an alien sperm. Yep. Alien sperm. Uh-huh. Alien sperm.
Simplest expression of an idea would transcend
alien sperm
our
doing?
smartest capacity to comprehend. Suppose,
That's alien sperm. What the
Dude
fuck?
texted me at like 8 a.m., bro. He said,
Of course. Oh,
suppose
early bird.
the difference between humans and chimps
Motherfucking. What? Reese's Puff. Reese's Puffs. Peanut butter chocolate flavor. Peanut butter. Peanut butter. Peanut butter chocolate flavor. Alright, ain't nothing on here. And then I gotta turn my light in. Gotta turn my light down. Oh, I've been waiting on this shit for so long. Alright.
Welcome to the kill count, where we tally up the victims and
Look at him looking all smooth and clean. Looking so fresh and so clean. My nigga.
All our favorite horror movies. I'm James H. and I am so MFing excited, y'all, because we are once again looking at Scream 1996, which competes with The Thing as my all-time favorite horror movie. I can't say enough about how much Scream has influenced me. I remember running scared from the opening scene as a 7 or 8-year-old and being proud of myself when I overcame that fear just a couple years later. I watched the first 3 installments religiously during my first horror movie obsession, back when I learned HTML just to code my own website. While I didn't catch Scream 4 when it first came out, it was filmed in my college town of Ann Arbor, Michigan. And of course,
Boo. OHIO.
had a freaking cameo in Scream 5. The coolest thing Chelsea and I have ever done, besides get married. This franchise means the world to me, and these kill counts will not be unbiased. But honestly, no review is. I'm just being upfront about how important this series, and especially this first film, is to me. I mean, I wrote about it in a published book. But Scream isn't just important to me, it's important to the horror genre overall. I'd argue it's one of the 5 most influential horror films ever made. It kicked off a second wave of slashers, the subgenre so integral to horror, people often think they're one and the same. Slashers were made huge by Halloween and Friday the 13th, and ruled the genre in the early 80s. But by the mid-1990s, they were a joke of their former selves, and the horror genre—
What the fuck they was doing, bro? They had a nigga Freddy out here looking like a bum. Niggas out here doing jokes and shit and playing, like, what is he doing? Nigga Jason is getting bitched by regular ass niggas. Like, what y'all got going on with these people? So, yeah, man. They kind of did the same thing with Scream, but Scream is getting bitched by little girls. Freaking teenage girls just bitching Freddy, bitching Scream and shit. So, Ghostface, what the fuck his name is. So,
genre had largely disappeared from the zeitgeist. That's not to say there weren't good horror flicks still coming out. There were, but to the general audience—
Candyman, boy. I seen that movie. I mean, granted, like I said last time, I only watched it because it had titties in it. And I low-key like scary movies. Like, I went through and watched every single Halloween movie. Because I ain't had shit else to do, so I watched every single Halloween movie. And, yeah, man, I just want to find some scary movies. And then I stumbled upon it. And then I seen this one scene where the bitch was in a tub, and them motherfuckers started floating up. I was like, God! Them motherfuckers sitting, boy, so you know what I'm saying? Hey, man, I ain't gonna speak too much on it, but, like, if you, hey. But Candyman a good movie, man.
Horror films were just—
Leprechaun in the Hood. Oh, my God, this is fucking classics. Leprechaun in the Hood. Garbage as fuck, but good as fuck at the same time, man. Leprechaun, that nigga's so fucking, bro. Good times, man.
Stereotypes. They were a punchline. Scream came in and acknowledged that the genre was full of tropes, but not in a jokey way like Jason Lives had done a decade prior.
Yeah.
Instead, Scream kept the stakes high and the horror grounded. The characters talked about the same horror movies the audience had seen in real life. It might be hard to understand now, when every movie is filled with references, but back then, it was unusual for characters to show this specificity of pop culture knowledge. It wasn't every day you were hearing references to The Howling.
What's that werewolf movie with E.T.'s mom in it?
The Howling.
The Whip-Smart script was written by Kevin Williamson, whose work perfectly captured the spirit of teenagers in the 90s. After Scream, Williamson would create Dawson's Creek and write more horror films that encapsulated the era. Finding a director proved a bit of a challenge.
I'm not gonna lie, he was on the street, because Dawson's Creek, I think I heard, was a good one. Slasher flick, I think. And I Know What You Did Last Summer was a good one too. I watched that one with Jennifer Love Hewitt. That one was a good one too.
Though, with George Romero and Sam Raimi both passing on the script. Wes Craven also turned it down at first, but changed his mind after hearing Drew Barrymore was attached. And after a young fan—
bro, after seeing her in fucking, what that shit called? With the girls, Angels, Charlie's Angels. Ever since then, I liked her, bro. Ever since then. She was in some other shit, some other movie I forgot, but ever since then, I liked her, bro. I like her, bro.
At a convention had told him his movies had gotten too soft. Craven didn't start directing until he was in his 30s, when he made Last House on the Left, a zero-budget rape revenge film. He'd go on to make a few more horror flicks before creating A Nightmare on Elm Street in 1984. That gave the world Freddy Krueger, the biggest horror icon of the 80s. But I guess that wasn't enough for old Wes, since he made another monster hit with Scream a dozen years later. Wes would stick with the series for the rest of his life, with Scream 4 his last directorial effort before he passed away in 2015. Thanks in large part to his effort.
R.I.P. man. I was gonna say, damn, he gonna come out with another hit. Who gonna be the next one? But R.I.P. man. R.I.P. bro.
Scream is one of the strongest horror franchises through and through. Every installment gives a sort of state of the genre, discussing and reflecting on horror's tendencies at any given time. The first dissects slashers, the second explores the rules of a sequel, and the third caps off the original trilogy by going full-blown Hollywood. A decade later, Scream 4 came out, guns a-blazing at torture porn and the proliferation of remakes. Another decade would pass before the fifth film tackled so-called elevated horror, and more pointedly, the more recent requel phenomenon. Aside from the first film, no Scream is perfect, but no Scream is bad either. It's great. As for the original, it's one of those movies where everything just came together. It's got a hell of a cast, an engaging whodunit mystery, and fucking Ghostface, man! Everybody knows Ghostface, and his voice.
Hello, Sydney.
The first three Screams were released between 1996 and 2000, and were then directly parodied by Scary.
This one, I was like, yeah, the motherfuckers was, oh, help! Motherfuckers was, help! Help! I was like, yeah, the motherfuckers sitting, boy. And there was another one, where the bitch, was it Final Destination? It was something, but the bitch died in a car crash, and the bitch shirt was just out, and them motherfuckers, I was like, yeah, that bitch was so bad. I forgot, and then the little kid stumbled upon, she was like, help. And the bitch titty was just out, the motherfucker was just sitting like, yeah. And she was like, help. And the kid, I forgot what he did. I think he took a picture or some shit. I forgot. And then they came to the crime scene, but I forgot what movie it was, bruh. Fuck. Was it scary? I don't even
Scary
remember.
movie
It was
later
a
that
parody movie or some shit. Fuck, bro. I forgot.
that year. In other words, Scream was the horror subgenre of the late 90s. I used to take that for granted, since I was a kid at the time. But looking back, it's hard not to appreciate its impact. Scream's funny, it's scary, and it was a massive success. And it all started with a phone call. Oh, hey, speak of the devil. Hello?
Hello, Jamothy. I want to play a game.
Who is this?
It's I already know it. It's for the boost shit, but I'm gonna let it play out a
Less
little bit.
about
Not
that
boost,
and more about
but not JBLs, the Ray Con shit. I
keeping
know.
your precious count filmable.
Oh my god. What do you want?
It's simple, Mr. Counter. You get all these sponsorships. Now it's time to prove you know what you're talking about. Answer 3 questions about today's sponsor, Raycons, and the kill count script can survive.
Is that all? Let's do this.
If you say so. How much battery life do you get on one charge?
Slash dead meat. Now let's sit back and take a trip to NorCal in the 90s and find out how many kills there were in Scream. The movie begins with a phone call. Oh man, someone dialed title card! Woodsboro High School student Casey Becker answers the phone to a velvety, sexy voice. She says the caller has the wrong number, but he calls back again anyway. They wind up talking about Jiffy Pop and then about scary movies.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
They name drop Halloween and Wes Craven's own baby, A Nightmare on Elm Street.
I like that movie. It was scary.
Well, the first one was, but the rest sucked.
Oh, come on, Wes. Even New Nightmare?
I did not write that line.
Oh, fair enough. I mean, you can't knock New Nightmare. It was Craven's testing ground for meta horror, released 2 years prior to Scream. It featured the actors and Craven playing real versions of themselves, while an evil entity takes on Freddy Krueger's appearance and tries to infiltrate the real world. Wes Craven's New Nightmare is a great movie, but it didn't resonate with audiences the way Scream did. I think the difference is the comedy in Kevin Williamson's script. New Nightmare is way drier and takes itself more seriously. Of course, despite its humor, Scream keeps scares as its priority.
Why do you want to know my name?
I want to know who I'm looking at.
fucking chills. This whole opening scene, one of the best in horror history, is an homage to the opening scene of When a Stranger Calls. Scream's references to other horror movies are way too vast to mention in a kill count. I know I've said this before, but I do hope to make a separate video detailing them sometime. And if I don't, well, I'm sorry, okay? Before you can pull a Magnum and say pop pop, the caller's voice changes from sexy to scary.
You hang up on me again, I'll gut you like a fish, understand?
This threat of home invasion gets Casey jumping scared, and she reaches a fever pitch when she sees her boyfriend Steve Orth tied up outside. The caller tells her she can try to save his life while creating a catchphrase for a puppet.
I wanna play a game.
The game is Ghostface's Horror Trivia Night. Casey correctly names Michael Myers as the killer in Halloween, but fumbles the ball when it comes to Friday the 13th.
Jason!
As any pedantic, horror-loving kid knew to annoy their friends with, like me, Pamela Voorhees was the killer in Friday the 13th. Adult Jason showed up in the sequel. And don't even get me started about the hockey mask. Because Casey got it wrong, Steve loses his life. He gets stabbed to death in the dark. The lighting and editing is a little cheesy, but it is a solid evisceration in the end, especially in the unrated version. Them guts be sloppy! Effects for Scream were done by the ubiquitous K&B Effects Group. For Steve's death, they made a chair with no back so actor Kevin Patrick Walls could kneel behind it, with his upper half sticking out over a fake abdomen. The belly was filled with rubber, latex, gelatin, and fake blood that then fell to the ground, something the MPAA was not a fan of, which is why it's cut in the R-rated version. With a chair through Casey's window, we're off to the races. There's no place to hide, but Casey arms herself with a knife, and even uses the phone as a weapon when she needs to. Eventually though, while going the distance, Casey's caught by Ghostface. Probably shouldn't have started running in slow motion, Case. That was dumb. The violence here is much more realistic than a lot of slashers, and even more impactful is the emotional moment as Casey tries to call out for her parents. They end up hearing her through the phone as she's stabbed to death by Ghostface. They helplessly listen as their teenage daughter takes her final breath. Even worse is when they come outside. It is not a pretty sight. Casey's death.
What the fuck? Oh, no, that's crazy. I ain't know it had all that. No, that's some Saw level gore right there. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's some Saw level gore.
Was done in a similar way to Steve's, combining Barrymore and a fake corpse, but this time they made a full body dummy since it had to be hanging from a tree. The death of Drew Barrymore's character was a huge twist for the theater-going audience. The movie had marketed the shit out of her involvement, so it became a surprise and also a reference to Janet Leigh in Psycho, who was billed as the star but died 47 minutes in. Drew had her beat by 34. Interestingly, it was Barrymore's idea to take the role of the cold open victim. She was originally cast as Sidney Prescott, the actual final girl, but changed her mind about starring in the film only 6 weeks before production began. I'm not sure why. Maybe she only wanted to work the 5 days it took them to shoot the opening, which took place in April 1996 at the very start of production. Taking over for her was the 22-year-old Neve Campbell, who had been in The Craft and 2 seasons of Party of 5. Campbell's acting is the bedrock of Scream's success. Sidney Prescott is my favorite final girl of all damn time, even if her taste in dudes is greasy-haired window climbers like Billy Loomis. Sid's boyfriend is played by Skeet Ulrich, whose intensity is only matched
He look like a motherfucking Skeet. He look like a Skeet. Yeah,
by his
he
good
look like
looks.
that.
He's well known now among a certain audience as Jughead's dad in Riverdale. Billy desperately wants to get into Sydney's pants, but she hasn't been interested in intimate affairs this past year. Sorry about your dry dick, Bill, but try to have some understanding. Sid's still mourning her mom.
Only a year ago, Maureen Prescott.
Yeah, so you been telling me this man climbed up in the window, probably walked or did some shit, climbed in your window, 2 stories at least, and did all that just to get some kisses. That's tough, my guy. That's tough. You did all that for some kisses. Damn.
Wife and mother, was found raped and murdered not far from this peaceful town square.
That human highlighter is Gail Weathers, loudest clown at the media circus that descends on Woodsboro High. Media criticism is a big part of the Scream films. Then 30-year-old Kevin Williamson was inspired to write Scream, originally entitled Scary Movie, while house-sitting by himself one weekend. He watched a
It's not a scary movie.
sensationalized news report about the 1990 Florida serial killer deemed the Gainesville Ripper.
What the fuck? What? No, what? I'm in Gainesville, Florida right now. What? I did not know that. What?
by himself one weekend. He watched a sensationalized news report about the 1990 Florida serial
1990 Florida serial killer
deemed the Gainesville
Reaper. What the fuck? On campus? Nah, that's crazy. What?
Ripper. He was so freaked out, he called a friend for comfort, and they talked about their favorite scary movies. Williamson's script was immediately popular, and a bidding war broke out between production companies. It was ultimately purchased by Dimension Films, which, along with its parent company,
Dimensions used to be big, boy. Listen, if you ever see that title card or title shit, Dimensions, you know it's gonna be a flick. You know it's gonna be a good one. Bro, I swear, every movie I seen by them, they did not miss. They did not miss.
It was
when you see this on your screen, they just did not miss. It was crazy. Spy Kids. I think they had Spy Kids. I think they had Sharp Bone Lava Girl, Scream, Scary Movie. Oh, like they didn't miss. She was crazy.
Ultimately purchased by Dimension Films, which, along with its parent company, Miramax, was founded by the Weinstein brothers, Harvey and Bob. Bob specifically made some major decisions for this film, like releasing it in December and changing its name from Scary Movie to Scream, inspired by the Michael and Janet Jackson duet of the same name. I fucking hate that these fucks are part of this movie's DNA. In my research, I kept having to see the same picture of that nasty ogre and his fuckhead brother. It was gross. Sydney's tragic recent past earns her sympathy from Principal Fonzie and the Woodsboro PD. It's headed by Sheriff Burke, played by Joseph Whip, who also played a cop in Nightmare on Elm Street. Woodsboro's deputy, Dwight Dewey Riley, is extra caring towards Sydney. That's cause he's the older brother of her best friend Tatum, played by Rose McGowan. Sid and Tatum Tots hang out with the rest of the gang at the Friends Fountain, which includes Grease Bucket Billy, Tatum's boyfriend Stu Macher, and Randy Meeks, the geeky fifth wheel of the group, who makes movie references and talks in silly voices.
Did you really put her liver in the mailbox? Because I heard that they found her liver in the mailbox.
Not to be outdone by Jamie Kennedy, Matthew Lillard makes sure to choose some scenery himself.
Never alone. Ow, liver. It was a joke.
And he will choose so much more.
I look back at that performance, I'm like, what was he letting me do?
Sydney gets back home, which is empty for the weekend. Earlier, her dad told her he was going out of town for a convention. Wonder if it's the same one Rand Peltzer got stuck at. Sid's house, like Casey's, is huge and empty, so she probably shouldn't be there all alone. Not with you-know-who calling around.
Hello, Sydney.
The iconic voice on the phone was provided by Roger L. Jackson, who would later go on to voice Mojo Jojo in the Powerpuff.
Hey, Mojo Jojo. Mojo Jojo. 5. Mojo Jojo. Hey. Mojo Jojo.
Girls. Craven never let the other actors meet Jackson, keeping him a scary stranger voice while they filmed their scenes.
When I'm working, I have a monitor there, so I can see through the camera's POV, though they can't see me, of course.
The caller once again plugs my interview show when he asks Sydney, "What's your favorite scary movie?" In response, Sydney talks shit about the genre.
They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
Her shallow judgment of horror is met with the caller breaking out his scary voice.
Do you want to die, Sydney? Your mother sure didn't.
Ghostface appears from inside her house and attacks Nev Campbell's stunt double. They talk joke, but she fends him off with a kick that sends him flying. With the front door locked, she's forced to be a stereotype, but keeps the ghost-faced killer out of her bedroom long enough for her, 14 4K internet to connect her to the police. A Billy boy suddenly pops in through the window, hugs Sid, and drops his cellular telephone. Why, I hear only witches have those devices. Witch! Ghost! Damn it, Dewey, why would you hold it like that? Billy is arrested despite his claims of innocence, and Tatum rolls up in her toy car to be there for her best friend. I love Dewey as this boyish Barney Fife, who reverts to being a kid when he learns that Sydney's staying overnight with them.
Does Mom know?
Yes, Doofus.
He's such a funny leading male character.
God damn it, Dewey.
Well, what did Mama tell you? When I wear this badge, you treat me like a man of the law.
Billy and his werewolf-looking dad maintain his innocence, but Sydney don't know what to think about her boyfriend. She definitely know what to think about Gail Weathers, though, who's slinking around the station looking for a scoop. Gail's been writing a book about the murder of Sydney's mom, but Sid didn't exactly put in a pre-order.
I'll send you a copy.
If that happened today, I bet someone would make an auto-tune version that went viral.
I'll send you a copy. Bam! Bitch went down.
I'll send you a copy. Bam! Sid, super bitch. Super bitch. Bam! Bitch went down.
Sydney hates Gail because her book is trying to exonerate Cotton Weary, the man arrested for murdering Sydney's mother a year ago. Gail thinks Cotton is innocent, and if these latest killings are connected, maybe she could prove it.
If I'm right about this, I could save a man's life. Do you know what that could do for my book sales?
Hit you in the face with book sales. She approaches the case through the proud.
Nah, that's crazy. The fact that she just said some crazy shit like that, and then you like, oh, bitch, and she slapped you in the face is crazy, and you let that happen?
In the face with
crazy.
book sales. She approaches the case through the proudly stated 25-year-old Deputy Dewey. It doesn't take long for her to start whittling her way into his naive heart. Gail and Dewey's relationship is so fun to watch throughout the series, especially since it led to a real-life romance and marriage between David Arquette and
Must be nice, man. Fine.
Courtney Cox, and it all starts here with this well-written and well-acted conversation.
In a demographic study, I proved to be most popular amongst males 11 to 24. I guess I just missed you.
I'm 25. I was 24 for a whole year.
David Arquette is absolutely hilarious in this role. Dewey's my favorite, man, eating his little ice cream cone while discussing suspects. He even kind of misses putting his sunglasses on. God, he's the best. Dewey was originally written as a more muscly hunk, but after being cast as one of the high schoolers, David Arquette requested he play the deputy instead, partly because it meant he'd get to kiss Courtney Cox. Aside from possibly Drew Barrymore, the 31-year-old Cox was the most well-known of the cast, being 2 seasons deep into Friends. She had to lobby hard to get the role of Gale Weathers, since at first Craven didn't think she could be bitchy enough. Billy is released since his cell phone records are clean, but he's still guilty of being an asshole about Sydney's mom's death.
No, it's been a year.
Tomorrow. 1 year tomorrow.
I know what. I think it's time you got over that. I mean, when my mom left my dad, I accepted it. It's the way it is.
Damn, no chill factor at all to this guy.
Stupid.
The rest of the student body's just as bad, flapping their little ghost arms around with Christmas glee. After overhearing some shit talk in the shit closet,
Maybe she's a slut, just like her mother.
Sydney gets attacked, but she escapes pretty easily. Some people think this bathroom attack wasn't from a real ghost face, but I don't see why it wouldn't be, sure as clumsy as they usually are. In any case, it gets school canceled for the day, and Stu immediately declares he's having a party at his farmhouse. He'll carry all the women there! Principal Himbry's not invited, but he'd be too busy anyway, fondling his hair in the mirror and pointing out Wes Craven's cameo that references his earlier horror hit.
Damn little shits.
What'd you call me? Huh?
Not your friend.
Oh, Wes, you were so cute. Not sure why you're falling down while filming this, though. Himbry gets killed in his office by a ghost face who was staying late after school. Wonder what club he was part of. Probably theater. How else would he get that sparkly-ass robe? Ghostface's costume is iconic, of course, but they had a hard time figuring out what he should look like. The script simply said a ghostly white mask. Howard Berger of K&B sketched a bunch of initial ideas, but they were way too grotesque and goblin-y to be taken seriously. Luck came upon production while location scouting at the house where they shot Hitchcock's Shadow of a Doubt. The perfect mask was found in a bedroom by producer Marianne Madalena, Wes Craven's longtime producing partner, who was born in Lansing and went to MSU. Go green? Just this once. At first, since they didn't own the copyright for the mask, K&B tried to sculpt their own imitation. Production began with this version, which can be seen in many shots of the opening and every scene with Principal Himbry, since Henry Winkler shot all of his stuff in one day right after they finished the opener. The K&B mask has squintier eyes and a smaller mouth, which is thinner at the bottom, thanks to Scream Trilogy for that info. Craven still preferred the original mask they found in that house though, and eventually they tracked down the makers, Fun World, a small New England company who agreed to let them use it as long as they were always given credit.
Being just a simple country boy that I am, I said, okay, that's fine, just be sure that you, in the credits, say Ghostface, courtesy of Fun World Easter Unlimited, our parent company. And send $100.
Fun World masks were used for the rest.
$100, that's it, man. You made some millions off of this shit. I know you'd have made bank off of this, boy.
Of the production, and are even in the opening scene thanks to some reshot inserts. Everyone in Woodsboro has their own theories about who the killer is behind that mask. Horror expert Randy thinks that Billy's a guilty boy. Stu thinks it's Sydney's still missing father. Basically,
everybody's a suspect!
Billy lets Randy know he doesn't appreciate the accusation. Stu lets Randy know he does appreciate his earlobe. The town closes for curfew as Red Right Hand plays, the kick-ass dark cowboy song by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds that was already used in an earlier montage. It would basically become Scream's unofficial theme song, appearing in all of the films but the fourth one. It's also used as the theme to Peaky Blinders, but it'll always be the Scream song to me. As for Woodsboro, it's played by the city of Santa Rosa, located about an hour north of San Francisco. Woodsboro High was supposed to be played by Santa Rosa High School, but even though the school staff agreed to it, the school board shot it down.
They didn't really want to glorify violence against children.
This isn't necessarily just a case of pearl clutching though. The city, which had a town hall meeting to discuss the school's use in the production, was still reeling from the case of Polly Kloss, a 12-year-old from a nearby town who had recently been kidnapped and murdered. Craven said later on that in retrospect, he understood.
Yeah. You can't do that, bro. Fuck, yeah, that's fucked, man. Yeah. I would do the same thing. Fuck, R.I.P., man. Damn, yeah.
Understood their concerns, but he was pretty pissed by the last-minute pullout at the time, thus the peculiarity at the end of the credits saying no thanks whatsoever to the school board. Instead, the high school was played by a community center in the nearby Sonoma. An hour into the film, we make our way there, folks. The party at 261 Turner Lane, one of the coolest third-act locations for a horror film ever. We spend more than 40 minutes at Stu's spacious, twisty farmhouse, all of which is shot on location at a house now known as the Spring Hill Estate. Located in Tamales, this spacious farmhouse sits on a hill super isolated from anything around it. In one of the top 3 coolest things we've ever done with Dead Meat, in November 2021, Chelsea and I were flown out to the Scream house and stayed there overnight. We were amazed at how much the action of the movie matched the house's real layout. We made a damn good video walking through what happens where. Make sure you check it out sometime. There's no better way to make a party lame though than the presence of a cop and a reporter. Dewey's here to play protector, but Gail's guile gets her into the party with him.
You're underage, son. I'm kidding. Have a good time. Watch the driving.
There, she plants a camera pointed at a bunch of drunk teenagers. Gail, you were just asking for legal troubles. Later, she learns her teen feed has a 30-second delay, like she were living in the post-Nipplegate world. Speaking of nips, Tatum heads to the garage to re-up her boyfriend on brewskis. While she's in there, a ghost face appears, ready to do his best David Byrne.
Oh, you want to play psycho killer?
Things start getting serious, enough for a party foul. And after the steel gets broken out, Tatum has no choice but to fight back. Ghostface, you are the sloppiest mess. Look at you, man. You're covered in beer. And you're doing clown stunts and shit. Ghostface gets the last laugh when Tatum tries to crawl out through a cat door while incorrectly estimating her bust. She's stuck as the killer turns on the world's strongest garage door motor, and killed when she's crushed against the roof of the garage. Even Ghostface is like, wow, that really worked? This memorable kill was a bit difficult to do. They had to nail Rose McGowan to the inside of the garage door so she wouldn't fall out. She clearly fits through it most of the time. They used a fake body for the ultimate crushing shot, which had to be cut from the theatrical release. The MPAA kept threatening to give Scream an NC-17. Craven and editor Patrick Lussier had to recut and resubmit it 9 times in order to get the R rating. The party clears out as the trash
NC-17. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, that'd be tough because you can't get as much traffic. Okay.
Is brought in. Billy Loomis, looking as greasy as ever. Stu offers them his parents' bedroom, and Sid takes him up on the opportunity. She apologizes to Billy for her chastity, saying she was afraid of becoming like her mother. I always forget how much Maureen Prescott's promiscuity is mentioned in this movie. Well, nothing like talking about your mom's sex life to get you in the mood. Sydney finally goes to Pound Town with Billy, which is not what you're supposed to do if you're in a horror movie, according to Randy downstairs. He interrupts a viewing of Halloween to go over the rules of surviving a horror film. No sex is number 1, followed by no drugs or alcohol, and finally, you can never say I'll be right back.
Cause you won't be back. I'm getting another beer, you want one? Yeah, sure.
I'll be right back.
Gail's not into this meta shit, so she leaves with Dewey. He's checking out a car reported on the side of the road. The party dies down more, and the last guests leave after they hear that Principal Himbry's body is hanging from the school's flagpole. In fact, this is why Himbry was killed in the first place. It was a late addition to the script, done solely to clear out the last of the party extras. On their way out, the teens drive Dewey and Gail from the side of the road, and closer together. Ooh, these two about to be horizontally dancing in the dark. The romance is cut short when they find the reported car, owned by Sydney's still missing father.
Everybody's a suspect.
Sydney and Billy are debriefing from their bone sesh when her suspicions start to match how her body felt a few minutes ago, aroused. They're quelled when Ghostface appears in the ghost flesh and flays Billy's torso with a knife. He calls out for Sid, then collapses, kicking off an elaborate chase scene through the house. Awesome chase scenes are a staple of Scream movies, and this one starts that motif off strong. Again, check out the video we did to see how much it follows the place's real layout. Sydney winds up falling backwards onto a big old boat mattress, and the sight of Tatum's corpse sends her fleeing from the farmhouse. She takes refuge inside the news van with Gail's intrepid cameraman Kenny. Kenny's been around the entire film, just getting abused by Gail. He's played by prolific character actor W. Earl Brown, who also played a morgue attendant in Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Dude put on 20 pounds to play Kenny, since the script had Gail berating him with fat jokes. Ghostface nearly murders Randy Meeks, who's talking to Jamie Lee Curtis on the TV. It becomes meta when applied to his own actor, Jamie Kennedy.
Behind you. Behind you, Jamie, turn around.
This is one of the only shots where Ghostface isn't played by a stunt performer. Another is a shot in the opening scene. Director Craven wears the masks when Casey hits him with the phone, dick! Otherwise, Ghostface was primarily played by 3 stunt performers. Dane Farwell seems to have done most of the work in chase scenes, and had the idea of wiping off the bloody blade after stabs to avoid continuity errors. Lee Waddell played Ghostface at the start of production, so he did the opening scene and the attack on Principal Himbry. Finally, stunt coordinator Tony Cesari played Ghostface for the next kill that's about to happen. Cesari was previously on the kill count, doing that amazing fire stunt in the original Nightmare. God, that thing rules. Sid and Kenny watch as Ghostface lingers over Randy, but due to the delay, Ghostface is already at the van and murders Kenny with a throat slit. Brown's look of shock was so convincing, the MPAA demanded it be cut from the theatrical version. Sydney leaves the deadwood behind her and pieces out through the van's escape tunnel, which is not scaled for Ghostface size. Dewey and Gail get back, and while Dewey investigates the now empty house, Gail finds evidence of ne'er-do-welling. Randy pops up and she hits him with the phone, dick! Then finds out Kenny's body is on the roof of the van. Stuck up there something good, too. She has to Tokyo drift it off. That and a flailing Sydney in the road causes Gail to crash the van against a tree. Did I do that? Sydney gets back to the house to see Dewdrop stumble out with a knife in his back. Ghostface retrieves his weapon and continues the chase into another vehicle. God damn, dude, you two have been going at it for so long. It's like, will they, won't they already, right? All this running around was taxing as hell. The whole last act, everything at Stu's house, was a single scene in the script that took 21 nights to shoot at the end of production.
When we finished it, we had t-shirts made, I survived scene 118.
Sydney can't trust anyone anymore, what with Randy and Stu both accusing the other of being the killer.
Everybody's a suspect!
She curses them both as she locks them outside. Billy stumbles out of the bedroom upstairs and all the way down the stairs. Good job, bro. He takes the gun from Sydney and lets Randy back inside so he can show off his best psycho impression.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
With that, he shoots Randy and reveals himself as the killer. It was Skeet Ulrich wearing the Ghostface suit behind Randy a few minutes ago. Billy reveals that all his blood is just corn syrup and that the stabbing was faked. And who was his accomplice, Ghostface, for that ruse?
Surprise, Sydney.
Yeah, but was it really a surprise? I mean, let's be real. Billy and Stu have looked like murderers in pretty much every scene they're in. Look at that knowing glance! But to be fair, it's easy to say this in hindsight. I literally can't remember a time I didn't know it was them. With the killers revealed, we get a full 5 minutes in hell as Sydney is tormented by these two, who clearly love each other, by the way, or at least Stu loves Billy. It's probably unrequited. They reveal that they're the ones who murdered.
That shit remind me of motherfucking Scary Movie, bro. Where the nigga was gay as hell, talking about, oh yeah, just take your shirt off, right? Come on, man, we can lay in the same bed. Just take your shirt off, we can lay in the same bed. Bro, that shit was, that's what it came from, bro. What the fuck? Oh yeah, it was with Martin Wayne. Was it Martin Wayne? No, not Martin Wayne. Marlon Wayne. I think one of them niggas.
Sydney's mom a year ago, then framed that guy cotton weary.
It was fun.
While frivolity may have been Stu's only motive, the scene gets more deranged as Billy reveals his. He says his father had been having an affair with Sydney's mother.
She's the reason my mom moved out and abandoned me.
Skeet Ulrich's seriousness is perfectly balanced by Matthew Lillard's camp. Lillard's playing everything as loud as possible, fucking spitting all over the place. Some people think it's annoying, but I think it's art.
It's a scream, baby. Hold on a sec. I'll be right back.
Even Lillard has his doubts sometimes, though.
I go back and watch that, I'm like, first of all, I weigh 80 pounds. Second of all, I spit my way through the whole thing.
He comes back with Sydney's father, who they're gonna frame for these murders. But first, they've gotta seem like they're survivors, so they play a round of stomach stabs. It's really the best way to build a friendship. Wow, Billy really wants to be Stu's friend, huh? All that bro love is making Stu lightheaded.
I'm feeling woozy here.
Gail shows up with a gun, having made her way back to the house from the accident. But the safety's on, so Billy simply kicks her against a pillar, knocking her down for a little do-nap. Before he shoots her dead, they realize Sydney's gotten away. She calls with the voice changer to taunt them, and it angers Billy so much, he forgets how to hang up properly.
Fucking hit me with the phone, dick!
K&B Effects used over 50 gallons of fake blood for Scream, a lot of which
Damn, that boy covered in that shit. Holy.
Which was used in this finale. It's actually what led to that line.
These little improv moments came out of because he hit me with the phone. You know, it slipped out of his hands because it was bloody.
Whether written or improvised, this scene is full of Lillard lines that I honestly quote to fucking death.
My mom and dad are gonna be so mad.
Sydney emerges from the closet to stab Billy with an umbrella. Ah! That scream from Ulrich is real. Nev Campbell, or the stunt performer, missed the protective vest he was wearing and accidentally actually stabbed him. Ah! Stu tags in, but after a tussle over the couch, Sydney breaks a vase over his head and dumps a TV on him. It Daniel fries him to death. Zoinks! I'm gonna go ahead and count him here, even though Stu's survival has long been up for discussion. He returned in an early draft of Scream 3, and Lillard has said he'd love to return for Scream 6, which comes out in just a few months.
I wish. Tell the people that make these decisions I'm available.
But if he's alive in that movie, I don't want any of you future fucks leaving comments saying I got it wrong, okay? I work with what I know. Sydney finds out that Randy's still alive, and Randy's face finds out that Billy's fist is still alive. Sid fingers his wound, and he's shot down by Gail, but Randy warns them not to get too comfortable.
This is the moment when the supposedly dead killer comes back to life for one last scare.
Sure enough, Billy does, but Sydney puts a bullet in his head. Damn. She's just a badass like that. All right, who's still living after everything? Sid's dad? Okay, that's cool. Deputy Dewey? All right, even better. Especially since that wasn't always the case.
When we shot the final scene, so I came out on the stretcher and I was dead. And then Wes did a second take and he said, you know what, just kind of give a nod or something, it shows that you're still alive.
It was a last minute idea from Craven to keep Dewey alive, and man am I glad he did. Love my little doo-doo ka-choo. The sun begins to rise as emergency vehicles arrive, and the movie ends with Gail Weathers giving a first-hand report on the Woodsboro murders. How many horror characters should have seen their deaths coming? Let's find out and get to the numbers. Oh, you can just stay right there though. I'll be right back!
Stupid.
There were 7 kills in Scream, a solid single-digit start for the series. The victims consisted of 5 men and 2 women, so a more than 2-to-1 ratio of dudes. This count and gender breakdown was only seen once before, in that Boy Meets World episode I covered. Remember that? Good times. With a runtime of 111 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 15.86 minutes. I'll give the Golden Chainsaw for coolest kill to Casey Becker. Lots of great kills in this movie, but I've gotta give top honors to the one that scarred me as a child. The Almost Ready for Lamest kill will go to Principal Himbry. It's not very good. Doesn't even make me want to say ayy. And that's it. Scream came out 5 days before Christmas in 1996. It didn't have a great opening, but it actually made more money in its subsequent weekends, which is rare. Great word of mouth kept it in theaters for 31 weeks, all the way to May. It grossed more than $100 million, and ensured a speedy sequel the next year. I'll look at that next week, but until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been The Kill Count.
Yeah, that just proves always, you know what I'm saying, be patient. You gotta be patient. But what was the other one? Boy Meets World, and there was, oh, that's probably one of they, I don't even know. Oh, he did Scream too? Oh yeah, recount. How'd you get jacked? The Xenomorphs. The Xenomorphs. How long is this? 28. I don't really want to watch King Said video. I ain't gonna lie, I don't feel like watching it. Let's just watch Kill Count Part 2. I want to watch Part 2. Recount.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Scream 2, released in 1997. With the first Scream a runaway hit, Dimension Films was eager for a sequel. Luckily, screenwriter Kevin Williamson already had an outline for one. As a horror fan, he knew sequels were common, even if they had a reputation of being bad. With most of the script developed before the first film had left theaters, Scream 2 quickly entered production and was released less than a year after the original. Scream 2 follows Sydney into college, where she's targeted by a copycat Ghostface. With an extra $10 million for the budget, the sequel features big-name stars and even bigger set pieces.
Every actress in town wanted to come into this, the second part of this series.
The crew.
What movie was it? Was it Kangaroo Jack? Was it Kangaroo Jack? Kangaroo Jack? Yeah, bro, this movie was so fucking stupid. Oh my god, bro. Yo, this bring back memories. Kangaroo Jack. Oh my lord. This movie, bro. This movie. Man, bro. I remember that nigga eating the fucking berries and shit. I remember that scene. Nigga had the fucking berries in his hand. He was eating some fucking berries or some shit, bro. Good times, man. Good times. Damn, that was a good ass movie. At least I thought it was.
Crew was equally eager to return, from the casting director down to the prop master. Cast and crew frequently called the set a family, led by their returning director daddy, Wes Craven. Production was rushed though, and faced constant rewrites on the fly. Look at all these script versions, jeez. Some were done without Williamson, since he was busy showrunning Dawson's Creek. These stressful on-set revisions were made because the original script leaked onto the internet. That pissed off Craven so bad, he sounded like me getting annoyed during a live stream.
All those you little fuckers out there that think that's really cute, you fucking ruined our next 3 months.
Despite the messy script caused by all the shifting plot points, there are a lot of fans who call Scream 2 their favorite Scream. I'm the opposite. It's probably my least favorite of the series. But thankfully, there ain't no such thing as a bad Scream. Scream 2 just feels the most drawn out to me, and the most repetitive when compared to the first one. Which, yes, I know is partly the point, but after a while, it starts to feel like when they did another trench run in Force Awakens. It also has some specific scenes that bother me. I can't let them go. But the movie's strengths are hella strong, like a lot of its new or promoted characters. It also introduces Stab, the fictional movie within a movie that allowed Williamson to get extra sequel-sized meta. The Stab movies become a runner in Scream, which is great. We wind up with a franchise within a franchise. Best of all, though, is the evolution of the three main characters and the individual relationships between each of them. Sidney Prescott in particular continues to make a case for my favorite character in all of horror. Here, she's the final girl who knows she's living through a sequel, bringing a perfect combination of vulnerability and resolve.
Stop treating me like glass, Dewey. I'm not gonna break.
Of course, the triad of her, Gal, and Dewey only works if everyone excels at their parts, and David Arquette and Courtney Cox continue to find fun folds in their characters. Wes Craven gets a lot of credit for crafting good scares, but he and the actors deserve just as much acclaim for these wonderful performances. They really bring an energy to their performances, just like today's sponsor, AG1 from Athletic Greens, brings an energy to my performance. Isn't that right, Fitness James? Actress about to watch a scary movie, and 5 travel packs with your first purchase. Few sequels surpass the quality of the original, but
Move my fan, I'm hot as fuck. Little bit.
Maybe this one can surpass the quantity of kills. Let's find out and get to them. The movie begins like the first one, with a 90s actress about to watch a scary movie. Since we can't bury more Barrymores, Scream 2 brings in Jada Pinkett as college student Maureen. She and her boyfriend Phil are at the now-closed Rialto Theater in Pasadena, previously seen on the kill count in a dream scene in Nightmare 4. This place is getting Billy Castle up in this bitch. Red right hand plays as the crowd goes fucking nuts, like this were a midnight premiere at the Southgate MJR in the mid-2000s. They're here to watch Stab, an in-universe slasher based on the Woodsboro murders in the first film.
It's a true story. All these kids got killed a couple years ago in California.
But it's not just based on the events of Scream, it's shot like the OG Scream 2, except this psychosexual shower shot. You get more TNA when you have Heather Graham playing Fakesy Becker. Audiences would have just seen her in Boogie Nights a few months prior. Later, in Scream 4, we'll see Robert Rodriguez credited as Stab's director, but despite a popular misconception, these scenes were still directed by Wes Craven. Phil heads to the bathroom, where he can't get a dick in thanks to all the ghost faces. Before he can get a poopin' duet going in the stall, he hears some weird noises next door. Is that a little kid voice? What the fuck? In a frankly kind of stupid kill, he puts his ear right up to the nasty ass stall wall, then gets stabbed in the head by a knife strong and long enough to puncture through. Now Phil's cold and he is scared, lying dying on the floor. All thanks to Ghostface, secret knife agent, dun dun dun. Phil's death might be meta commentary on the whole black character dies first in a horror movie stereotype, but I've got a note, at least in kill count movies, I haven't seen that trope very often. The killer takes Phil's place next to Maureen, who's too scared of Casey's meta-murder to notice the change in screamery. Some shoulder blood finally catches her attention, then a blade catches her in the gut. It's unnoticed by the theater goers who are screaming their damn lungs out. God, can someone slip Coke in the Coke? Or the Pepsi. Sorry, they make it mighty clear that it's Pepsi. In any case, this theater is ridiculously over the top, but it's portrayed earnestly enough to keep this horrifying instead of corny. Maureen doesn't die until after she's climbed on stage like someone's got her name in their fucking mouth. The patrons finally realize something's wrong when she gives out a banshee scream. Sidney Prescott is now a world-weary college student who has to fend off prank phone calls. It may just be apocryphal, but according to some, the original Scream caused a surge in use of caller ID.
Hi, did you know that caller ID use tripled after the premiere of Scream? The CBS Sunday night movies will be right back.
Thanks, Drew. Sydney attends the fictional Windsor College, and while it's never stated in the movie, the screenplay says it's in Ohio. So I'll take that as canon until stated otherwise. Sucks for them. Haha, go blue! It's the same school Phil and Maureen attended before
OH. Yeah, Ohio. It was in Ohio.
They were killed, and the same school Randy Meeks attends, since he followed Sydney there. To no surprise, Randy's a film major, and the conversation his class has makes me cringe out of my skin. It's fine when they start a meta discussion about the merits of sequels.
Stab 2? Who'd want to do that? Sequels suck.
But the specifics of their combo retroactively feel film bro.
I got it. The Godfather. Part 2.
It's like, I'm 15 and this is deep. The worst is how supposed film geek Randy gets a classic Aliens quote wrong.
Get away from her, you bitch. I believe the line is stay away from her, you bitch. It's film class, right?
Get away from her, you bitch!
The quote was written correctly in the script, but while filming, the 19-year-old Joshua Jackson mixed up his line and said the right quote accidentally. Jamie Kennedy adapted on the fly and gave the misquote as his line. It bugs the hell out of me. It wasn't messed up the first time they filmed this scene in a lecture hall.
Stay away from her, you bitch. That was a great line. One line does not make a movie great.
It was reshot later at UCLA, maybe because the first attempt didn't have Sarah Michelle Gellar or Joshua Jackson. Still had awful dialogue though.
I got it. Friday the 13th, part 20.
Gellar plays Cece Cooper, a fellow film student, alongside Mickey Altieri, played by Timothy Olyphant. Sid's friend group also includes her roommate Hallie and her new boyfriend Derek. Randy's not a fan of Derek. Wonder why. Well, maybe you'd stand a better chance if you didn't randomly talk in a British accent, Randy.
A lot of shit happens at the movies. People get robbed, shot, maimed, murdered. Multiplex is just a very dangerous place to be these days.
No one knows why Jamie Kennedy did that.
He just did that in a take.
He just did that in a take. The media storm over the movie theater murders prompts the return of Hurricane Gale Weathers, Highlights Edition. She's chasing numbers again after writing a successful book about the Woodsboro murders. She has a new cameraman, Joel, whom she berates like he were another Kenny. Her ire even extends to the local press, like reporter Debbie Salt.
Begin quote. Great. Your flattering remarks are both desperate and obvious. End quote.
I love the person in the background going, ouch!
End quote.
Gail tries to score an impromptu exclusive between Sydney and an old, not quite friend, Cotton Weary, her mother Maureen's illicit lover, who was wrongfully imprisoned for her murder. Sydney saw him earlier being interviewed by screenwriter Kevin Williamson in a cameo. The exclusive ends in a familiar way for these ladies.
Did you get that on film? Yes, I got that on film.
Scream 2 may be the most serious of the franchise, but it still has plenty of funny moments. This one came from actors Elise Neal and Dwayne Martin ad-libbing.
When I ad-libbed that, and I was mad at Dwayne that day because he said it right after me trying to steal my shine. Like, why are you gonna repeat it? Then they wanted it. So I was like, man, I came up with that. I'm trying to come in with my part.
Gail takes a stroll to clear her head and runs into Dewey, who's flown out to keep an eye on Sid. Poor guy's got a limp because of a severed nerve from that stab to the back. He's not keen to rekindle a romance with Gail, since she talked a bit of shit about him in her book.
Page 41. Deputy Dewey oozed with inexperience.
I love this speed bump in their relationship. He's so wounded by her betrayal, and while she doesn't feel bad, she does seem to admire his earnestness. Their chemistry is great, partly because the two actors had started dating in real life, but it's gonna take Gail more than puppy dog eyes to fix Dewey's deeply hurt feelings. Dewey has a much better reunion with Sid, where their sibling-like relationship flourishes. It makes sense. She was his little sister's best friend, and with Tatum gone, Sydney works as a replacement sibling.
Our surrogate big brother.
The scene also introduces Dewey's theme, a musical leitmotif that perfectly suits his character. I sadly don't get to talk about music a lot on the kill count, because playing clips with music is an easy way to get copyright claims. Marco Beltrami's work is important to the Scream series though. The original film was the first feature-length score he composed, and he'd worked with Craven 6 more times, including on Screams 2, 3, and 4. I love his Morricone-inspired work in Scream, and the haunting choral voices of Sidney's lament. But Dewey's theme was not one of his pieces. It was originally composed by Hans Zimmer for the 1996 film Broken Arrow. Sydney gets invited to a sorority mixer by a pair of Stepford sister wives, Lois and Murphy. They're played by a pre-Arrested Development Portia de Rossi and Rebecca Gayheart, who would wind up in the Scream-esque urban legend the next year. Despite Sid's reluctance, Hallie drags her along for a night out with these super friendly sisters.
Sydney, you made it. Hi. No, I really mean that. Hi.
She really means that.
Hi.
This party features Everclear and Matthew Lillard in the background. He had dropped by to visit Nev Campbell on set, right before the two briefly dated. Not at the party is Randy's classmate Cece, who's sober-sitting the sorority house while her sisters rage. She's played by Buffy herself, Sarah Michelle Gellar, who had just finished filming the Williamson-penned I Know What You Did Last Summer. It doesn't take long for her to get a threatening phone call.
Look, do you want to leave a message for someone?
Do you want to die tonight, Cece?
Cece CC's if someone's outside, but it's just Donnie, a fellow sister played by a young Marisol Nichols. Last seen on the kill count in Spiral getting a steamy facial. Oh, sorry, phrasing. Donnie leaves the door open, letting a ghost face in, so Cece is soon attacked by a killer with cruel intentions. He Scooby-Doo chases her upstairs. Getting all sorts of shit thrown at him, including a bike. Ultimately, she gets thrown through a glass door and stabbed in the back. Ghostface then tosses Cece over the balcony, and Daphne goes splatney on the pavement below. News of the murder reaches the mixer, and the partygoers leave to check out the crime scene, including the greatest extra of all time. God, I love that guy. Look at his stupid face. Whoa! The crowd also includes this good boy, whom it looks like Liev Schreiber brought to set and insisted be in the picture.
Why can't he just walk down the steps? Can he hit a mark? He can hit a mark. Put a dog biscuit in there, hit a mark. Rudy, can you hit a mark? See that?
He was very excited the dog succeeded. This kind of chaos is old hat for Sid, so she decides to turn in for the night, right after she takes one last phone call.
Hello?
Hello, Sydney. Remember me?
A chase ensues, but Sydney manages to get to the back door unstabbed. Derek dashes inside to confront her assailant, but when Dewey follows suit, all he finds is a bloodied boyfriend, but not too bloodied, making him look mighty suspect in the long dark shadow of Billy Loomis.
You're lucky he didn't kill you.
Yeah, it's awfully convenient.
Gal and Dewey meet with Police Chief Hartley and figure out the connection between the victims.
Is Cece the girl's real name?
Casey. Casey Cooper.
As in Casey Becker?
With Phil Stevens representing Casey's boyfriend Steve and Maureen Evans standing in for Sydney's mom Maureen Prescott, the police officially determine they're dealing with a copycat killer. Well, Gal determines it. Give credit where credit is due. Either way, Chief Hartley must be proud, since he's played by David Arquette's real-life father, Louis Arquette. But Gal's investigative charms still haven't won Dewey back over yet.
Come on, Dewey. Smile just once.
I'll smile when I catch the killer.
Sydney sits down for a quiet lunch, but Derek ain't about to let that happen.
And so I just decided to myself, I'd hide it to myself.
What is he doing?
He's ruining the movie is what he's doing, by breaking out into song to prove his love to Sid.
I think I love you.
Don't do this.
Yeah, man, please don't. It's an acknowledged reference to Top Gun, where Tom Cruise does the same thing with a different song. It's awful in that movie, and it's even worse here. I can't stand it. I hate everything about it. I hate how long it goes on for. I hate Mickey's stupid dance moves. Fuck you all for clapping. It sucks so bad. And stop conducting, dude. It's so cringe. This Partridge Family song had to be sung by Jerry O'Connell during his audition. Personally, I might have just passed on the part. The cast hated doing it as much as I hate watching it.
None of us really like that song.
Look at this shit. You can tell O'Connell would rather be hiking towards a dead body.
I mean, I did the best I could.
Yeah, you did, when you weren't stepping on the wrong table. At the end of this garbage, Derek gives Sid his fraternity letters, which they say is a frat faux pas. I don't know if that's real or not. It's all Greek to me. With that cafe-tastrophe over, we check in with Randy and Dewdrop, who's drinking a milkshake just like he had his little ice cream cone in the original. Dewey the dairy fan. The two watch a scene from Stab on TV, where Billy Loomis is played by Luke Wilson. I guess because of Bottle Rocket? I love how they recreate the hilarious end of that scene.
Stupid.
They mentioned that in Stab, Dewey's played by David Schwimmer, co-star to Courtney Cox in Friends. As for Sydney, she's played by Tori Spelling, which was mentioned as a potentiality in the first Scream.
I see you as a young Meg Ryan myself.
Thanks, Dewey. With my luck, they'd cast Tori Spelling.
Randy once again explains the rules of a horror movie, but this time as they specifically pertain to sequels.
Number 1, the body count is always bigger. Number 2, the death scenes are always much more elaborate. More blood, more gore.
As always, David Arquette is hilarious in how specific and unique his acting is.
Maybe you are a suspect.
Well, if I'm a suspect, you're a suspect.
You have a point.
Sydney tries to back out of the leading role in her school's play. I've never loved this Agamemnon subplot, written by Craven during one of the on-set rewrites. But I do like the thematic resonance of Sydney playing Cassandra, the Oracle whose warnings were always ignored. It also gives us a cameo by the late David Warner as her teacher, last seen on the kill count in The Ice Cream Man. Rest in peace. He doesn't believe in bad omens, so he tells her the show must go on. During rehearsal, Sydney gets screamy once the fake knives start flying and the hooded faces start ghosting. She runs off stage to weep in the wings, where Derek all of a sudden appears. With that killer boyfriend, Shadow of Billy, still Loomising over her, Sydney breaks up with Derek. She ain't about to let no second Lion King ruin her pride. Dewey and Randy meet up with Gal and Joel, who's gotten nervous since learning that Kenny was killed. The specifics don't really matter to him.
Gutted / the guy ain't in the union no more.
He leaves to grab a coffee, and the others get a phone call.
I'm not interrupting anything, am I? You three look deep in thought.
It sounds like the killer is watching them, so Randy stays on the line while Dewey and Gal assault every student with a cell phone on the diag. Sorry, the Quad. Windsor College was played by Agnes Scott, a private women's college in metro Atlanta. It provided most of the exterior and interior locations. Beautiful campus. Ghostface teases Randy and says he'll always be the geeky supporting character, never the MC.
Fuck you!
Unfortunately for Randy, the call is coming from inside the news van, and no one hears him struggling over these b-boys blaring Cottonmouth Kings. I listened to an embarrassing amount of Cottonmouth Kings, and was kind of excited to find a music video of theirs on the Scream 2 Blu-ray. By the time Gal and Dewey find him, Randy's become the first legacy character to die. Poor little hot dog got ketchup to death. Yeah, let it out, Gal. Don't relish in it. Sydney gets a threatening instant message in the library, scrambling her security detail, Officers Andrews and Richards. Their names are taken after the kid actors in Halloween, Brian Andrews and Kyle Richards. They do a shithouse job, leaving Sid alone so she can get jumped by Cotton Weary. He's eager to step into the spotlight by doing a talk show sit-down with her.
We're talking primetime, Sid. You, me, and Diane Sawyer.
Understandably, she refuses. Also understandably, Cotton's gotten a little weary of being labeled the bad guy.
I mean, come on, Cindy, you dragged my name through the mud. Everybody thinks I'm some kind of psycho killer, and all I'm asking for is one little fucking Diane Sawyer interview to maybe get my side of the story straight.
He just wants everything illuminated. I love how Cotton Weary was brought back for Scream 2.
He was just a throwaway character in the first film, and we never thought we'd see live again.
We lucked out that Liev Schreiber was cast for this single shot of him in Scream 1.
All I had to do was to get out of a car and walk up a flight of stairs. It was one of the easiest jobs I'd ever done.
Cotton's so interesting, an awkward guy who's been profoundly affected by being wrongly accused. I love how
he like, it's crazy how he got more good looking as he got older. Like, he looked good as hell now, and during this time, I don't know.
He has a decent point here, but is way too aggro explaining it. It gets him arrested, but he's released due to lack of evidence. Sydney doesn't know who to trust anymore, since, after all,
everybody's a suspect!
Except Randy, because he's dead. In fact, his death prompts Joel to be the smartest horror movie character ever. Not wanting to go the way of Kenny, he straight up leaves the movie, which was an idea Dwayne Martin had and pitched to Craven.
He goes, how would you leave? I said, cab. He said, you want to leave by taxi? I said, yeah. He said, all right.
And that's exactly what he does. Randy's death also hits Gail like hell, causing her to verbally lick Debbie Salt. Salt's been around seasoning some scenes, and even casting suspicions towards the story-seeking Gail.
Well, it just seems to me that if the killer is repeating what happened in Woodsboro, it's quite possible that the killer could be from Woodsboro.
But at this point, Gail wants to do the right thing without any regard for ratings.
I just want to find this fucker. I really do.
That finally wins over Dewey, and the two take Joel's footage to the film school to try to find a ghost face in the grassy knoll. The home movies get them hot and heavy with each other, but they take a break when, hey, they take a break, Dewey, when they realize someone spliced the live feed into the footage they're watching. It ain't Tyler Durden in the projection booth, it's a non-union editing Ghostface, motherfucker! In the ensuing awesome chase scene, which is always a highlight of Screams, Dewey ends up in a soundproof booth where he's stabbed in the back once again. Gail watches helplessly, and then Ghostface pulls his classic disappearing act. When Gail runs into a bloodied Cotton in the hallway, she's convinced she's found the killer. She even lets Debbie Salt in on the scoop.
The killer is Cotton fucking Weary! Cotton Weary?
Elsewhere, Derek bids Sydney a farewell as she departs with Hallie to safer shores. He's quickly attacked by hooded figures, but they ain't ghost faces, they Greek faces, here to haze Derek for giving Sydney his frat letters. You know,
frat stuff.
They have no king but Caesar, crucify him! Yeah, and make his penis shotgun a beer. Heads up, little buddy! When Sydney's police escort stops at a traffic light, Ghostface sucker punches Andrews through the window, then sucker slices his neck open. Splurt! Richards takes a beating, but pops up to play the hero. Then he Ghostface rides the whip when the killer floors the gas. The new hood ornament tries to get a shot off with his gun, but his wild ride ends in hell when his head is impaled on a bunch of pipes. Ooh, baby, that driver's batshit. God, those final death twitches are seriously disturbing. Look at his little hand wiggle. Ugh. The crash knocks Ghostface out, giving Sidney and Hallie the chance to escape the back seat. This suspense sequence wasn't in the script. Craven said they came up with the idea on set. That means Neve Campbell had to do this back-bending stunt without any preparation. But she always loved the physical aspect of playing Sidney, and credits her history as a dancer for her athleticism. Sid nearly unmasks the killer, but has to abort the mission when she slips out a little toot. I still think it's dumb she doesn't do it, and she does too after she and Hallie escape down the street. She runs back to fix the mistake, only to find that the fender-bending Phantom ain't in the car no mo. Instead, he's right behind a clueless Hallie.
What?
Whom he stabs to death in front of Sidney, then drops her body to the ground. Hallie feels a little underutilized to me, maybe because she was originally supposed to be one of the killers, before the extensive rewrites. Sid makes it back to campus, where a siren song lures her into the theater. On stage, she's jump scared by a Jesus Christ superstar, Derek, bound and boozy from that hazing session earlier. Before she can untie him, she's stopped by Ghostface, who reveals himself to be yeah, Mickey.
Surprise, Sidney.
I mean, I guess, but mostly because I had forgotten that character existed. Dude literally hasn't been in the movie since 45 minutes ago, when he was waving his arms around like a jackass. Timothy Oliphant tries his best to save this lame reveal, but Mickey's still just a second-rate stew.
Surprise, Sidney.
Mickey implies that Derek has been his partner in crime all along. The frat bro asks Sidney to stand by him, but she's unable to bring herself to trust him. As she's frozen in hesitation, Mickey plugs a hole straight through Derek's broken heart. Mickey sucks as a reveal, but it is downright evil the way he makes Sid feel guilty for suspecting Derek right up to his death.
You should really deal with your trust issues, Sid.
He reveals he's got a case of the crazies, with a harebrained homicidal scheme to get caught. Then he'll bask in the media frenzy and blame his murder spree on horror movies. Killing people to become famous is a sadly prescient motivation that resonates with earlier dialogue about life imitating art.
You can't blame real-life violence on entertainment.
Hello, the murderer was wearing a ghost mask, okay? Just like in the movie, it's directly responsible.
No, it's not.
This commentary also helped Scream 2 with the MPAA.
The opening, they felt, was an excellent commentary on the nature of horror movies, and that we were being responsible by making that in some way.
There's still one elephant in the room though, who might be working with Mickey as a second Ghostface. Turns out it's Gail Weathers. Nah, just kidding. It's crazy-eyed Debbie Salt, whose real name is
Mrs. Loomis?
That's right, that lady is
Billy's mother.
Scream 2 originally had a very different ending, back when it was filmed as Scream the sequel, before Miramax demanded a title change. Mrs. Loomis was always the primary antagonist, but at first she had 3 accomplices, Derek, Hallie, and Cotton Weary. When that draft got leaked, revisions and secrecy followed. A fake script was written, which was also leaked. Scripts were printed in a way to prevent photocopying, and most people's scripts had the last act largely blacked out.
Or I remember seeing a lot of blacked out pages in my script. So I thought I might be wearing one of those.
Laurie Metcalf's hunch was right, and the matriarchal murderer was foreshadowed earlier by Randy.
Mrs. Voorhees was a terrific serial killer.
Like Pamela, Mrs. Loomis wants to avenge her son's death, so she plans on killing Sidney and enlisted Mickey online to help her. As for Mickey's plan, she knows it's dumb as shit, so she turns on him and shoots the loose end. The psycho cinephile lets off a shot that hits Gail in the tum-tum. She stage dives into the theater pit for pretty much the rest of the movie. Unlike Mickey, Mrs. Loomis is a great Ghostface reveal, especially because Laurie Metcalf plays her as delightfully unhinged.
I am sick to death of people saying that it's all the parents' fault. It all starts with the family. You want to blame someone? Why don't you blame your mother?
Sidney manages to break away with a breakaway bottle before fighting firepower with fake fire. God, this part is dumb as hell too. What kind of antagonist gets defeated by college drama department props? What are you doing, Sid? Trying to scare her away with noise? She ain't a bear. Their struggle is interrupted by a stray gunshot from Cotton, whom Sidney quickly catches up and introduces to Crazy Eyes Deb. Mrs. Loomis tries to convince Cotton to let Sidney die, but he's gonna base his actions on how they best benefit him.
Bet you that Diane Sawyer interview's looking real good right about now.
Since Sidney would take Diane over Diane, she accepts the offer. Cotton shoots the homicidal housewife, ensuring that Lady Bird will grow up an orphan. Sidney grabs the gun and gets jump scared by Gal, who says the bullet just bounced off her ribs. Well then, nice of you to help back back there, Gail! Since this ain't these ladies' first rodeo, they're suspicious of Laurie Metcalf's death face.
I always come back.
But it's the Deadwood that ain't so dead. Mickey's still got some kicky in him. They quickly gun him down, sending his body tumbling upstage. Or is it downstage? I can never remember. It was a justified shooting though, so Sydney has nothing to worry about. That one was closer to a cause for concern. Hope Sid gets some therapy after this. The paramedics arrive alongside Joel, who comes back to cover the night's events. Gail can't be bothered though, after spotting Dewey doing the same old back jab Jesus routine he did in the original. Instead of filing a report, Gail picks her heart over her job and rides off with the Deuster in the ambulance. Sydney is swarmed by reporters, but she directs them to Cotton Weary instead, calling him a hero and giving him the 15 minutes of fame he's been craving. The movie ends with some 90s post-grunge as Sydney walks away to, wait, where is she going? Literally all her college friends are dead. How many co-eds received a deadly degree at sequel school? Well, I want to tell you, but this morning, I woke up with this feeling I didn't know how to deal with. And so I just decided to myself, I'd hide it to myself and never talk about it. And didn't I go and shout it when you asked for a kill count? Let's get to the numbers! Let's get to the numbers! Let's get to the numbers! Isn't that what the show was based on? Though it's much more nowadays, I still always gotta say, let's get to the numbers!
No. See?
10 people died in...
That's what happened with that Michigan education. That's what happens. Shit like
Scream 2, with the victims 6 men and 4 women, giving us these sequel slices of pie. Sure enough, Randy was right. The second installment had more kills than the first. 3 more. With a runtime of 120 minutes, that gave us a kill on average every 12 minutes flat. I'll give the Golden Chainsaw for coolest kill to Officer Richards. It's easily the goriest death in the movie, and the post-death twitching is the cherry on top. Dol Machete for lamest kill will go to Hallie, since it's a basic slice and dice with an exceptionally dumb build-up.
What?
You heard me! And that's it. Scream 2 was released in 1997. The original trilogy would be capped off with Scream 3 in 2000, which I'll look at next week. But until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been The Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching this.
Did he do Scream Part 3 yet?
Let's get ready to rumble!
Oh shit, he did. He did 4 and Jesus. Alright, I'm gonna save these 2 for next time. Bro, get this off my fucking screen, bro. Fuck, keep popping up on my screen. I don't want to see that shit. Alright, man. I don't even know if I want to play a game, bro. What time it is? I mean, I've been an hour and a half. I don't even feel like playing a game. I thought I wanted to play a game. I ain't gonna lie, I do not feel like playing no game. Man, I think I'm about to get off, man. I'm in stream tomorrow, though. I think I'm about to get off, man. I thought I wanted to play a game. I don't. Ain't nobody in there motherfucker anyways, so I'm chilling, though. I'm chilling. But I may be back tomorrow or something. Peace.